My husband has neglected our family because of his work. That day he left our house saying he was going on a company trip. I was at an amusement park at the request of my daughter who was lonely. That's where I witnessed a shocking scene at the amusement park. What is my husband doing here? My husband, who was supposed to be on a company trip, was at the amusement park with a young woman and a 3-year-old boy next to him, and the three of them were even holding hands. It looked like happy parents and their child, no matter how you looked at it. At that moment, I heard something snap in my head. So that's what it was. Well then, I have an idea. I approached them as they were moving away from me and spoke to them from behind in a deliberately cheerful voice. Looks like you're on a fun company trip. My name is Meredith. I'm 38 years old. I'm a stay-at-home mom raising a 9-year-old daughter, Nina. I met my husband, Henry, at a blind date when I was single. After 2 years of dating, he proposed, and we got married. Soon after, we had a daughter. After 11 years of marriage, our marriage is gradually cooling down. Henry had recently received a promotion at his company and was quite busy. He came home late on weekdays and worked on weekends and holidays. Sometimes he even stays overnight at the office. Even when he is home sometimes, he spends the entire time staring at his computer or cell phone. Conversation between us gradually declined, and our daughter Nina began to act distant from my husband. If this situation continues, our family will fall apart. I felt a sense of crisis and complained to Henry when he came home late. Hey, can't you spend time at home more? I want you to spend more time with Nina. Then my husband looked annoyed.
I told you I'm busy with work.
But I'm sure Nina misses you too. You're her father.
Why don't you take care of Nina? Don't give me any more trouble.
Henry went off to his bedroom without a word with me. I was left alone with my head in my hands. Then Nina drew a picture of our family at school. It showed Nina and I holding hands in the middle and a small drawing of what looked like my husband at the edge. Nina, why did you draw Dad so small? Because he's always away from home. I don't even remember what he looks like anymore. Nina tells me awkwardly, it can't go on like this. We must regain our family ties. I saw Nina's picture and made up my mind to do so. I waited for Henry, who came home late that day. Hey, Henry, do you remember what day is next Saturday?
Huh? Is there something?
It's Nina's 9th birthday.
Oh, that's right. Of course, I remember.
Henry tells me with an annoyed look on his face. From the look on his face, he probably forgot about it. It's on a weekend, so let's go on a trip to celebrate Nina's birthday that day.
Huh? A trip?
Let's take Nina to the aquarium she's always wanted to go to. It's her birthday after all. My husband pondered something for a while and then sighed as if he had given up on the idea.
All right. We'll go on a trip that day.
Really? Promise me you won't make any plans. Henry nodded at my remark. Hopefully this trip will bring us back together as a family. I thought about that. The next day, when I told Nina about our travel plans, her face lit up. Can we go on this trip with Dad? Yes, he's coming with us. Are you excited? Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to hold hands with Mom and Dad at the aquarium. Nina must have been feeling so lonely. She was so happy to hear that her father would be with her. I narrowed my eyes as I gazed at her happy face. On the day of the trip, when Henry woke up in the morning, he looked at his cell phone and had a frustrated expression on his face. As we were excitedly getting ready to leave, he said to us,
I can't go because of work today. Why don't you two go on the trip together?
What are you talking about? I looked at Nina. She looks like she's about to cry. Don't you feel sorry for Nina? I asked you not to make plans today.
I can't cancel work. What choice do I have? I have to go.
After getting dressed, Henry quickly left the house without listening to Nina's attempts to say anything. In the end, it was just me and Nina on the trip. Nina was sad and didn't want to go to the aquarium, which she was looking forward to. I could feel Nina's disappointment in her father. Instead of bringing our family back together, this trip only deepened the rift. I sighed to myself. After returning from the trip, I waited until Nina was asleep and questioned Henry, but he said,
I had no choice. It's work.
He made excuses and finally got angry with me. After that, my husband continued to be away from home. I spent more time with Nina, but she acted as if her father was no longer there. Something had to be done, I thought to myself. I'd like to spend the next 3 consecutive holidays with the 3 of us. We could just stay at home or go shopping. Anyway, I thought that spending time with the 3 of us would make the current situation a little better. So when Henry came home late at night, I made a serious plea. Henry, you have to make up for what you did the other night. You're really losing Nina's trust, and mine, of course.
You're overreacting.
There's a 3-day weekend coming up, right? One of those days, you have to be with us this time. If you can't do that, I think we're done as a family.
What? I can't. I'm going on a company trip during that weekend.
What? Company trip? You've never been on a company trip before.
It just started this year. Anyway, I can't go the next weekend either. Well, I guess that's that then.
Henry said that and went to take a shower. I was left thinking, I don't know if we can stay as a family anymore. As the 3-day weekend approached, my husband spoke to me.
Hey, what are you guys doing for the 3-day weekend?
I don't know, maybe I'll take Nina and go back to my parents' house.
Oh, well, have a safe trip.
Henry seemed somewhat happy. I wondered why, but with a sarcastic smile on my face, I said, Have fun on your company trip. Then the first day of the 3-day weekend arrived. How do you feel about going to Grandma and Grandpa's house? I asked Nina.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask you something.
What is it?
I'd like to go to an amusement park with you one of these days. I heard my friend had a great time there.
I hugged Nina as she fidgeted and said something like that. Of course we can go. We can go this weekend if you want.
Really?
We can always go to Grandpa's house another time. Let's go to the amusement park this weekend. Thus, Nina and I decided to go to an amusement park on the following Sunday. On the day of our outing, Nina and I went to an amusement park a little ways away from home. Nina's excitement was high throughout the day and she enjoyed the attractions one after another. I rode along with her and sometimes watched from afar as we enjoyed our time together. Eventually, Nina said she wanted to ride a roller coaster, but I'm not very fond of roller coasters, so I decided to wait nearby. Then I looked around and saw an unbelievable sight. Huh? Henry, what is he doing here? A young woman and a 3-year-old boy were holding hands next to my husband. Clearly, this is not the atmosphere of a company trip. It looked like happy parents and their child, no matter how you looked at it. At this moment, I knew what was going on. Henry had cheated on me and betrayed us. And he had an illegitimate child. But something snapped in my head. So that's what it was. Then I have an idea. I approached them as they were moving away and spoke to them from behind in a deliberately cheerful voice. Looks like you're on a fun company trip. Henry turned around and recognized my voice. He turned pale.
Why are you here?
While I was silently staring at Henry, a woman and a boy approached me.
Henry, who is this person? What's this about a company trip? Dad, is this your friend?
Henry turned pale and clammed up. From the look on his face, it seems they don't know that he has another family. I don't want to start something in front of the little boy. I gave the woman my contact information and whispered in her ear. I am his wife. I'm going to walk away today. Make sure you call me here. The woman looked at Henry and me with wide eyes and then nodded with a blue face. After that, Nina and I went home early and waited for my husband to get home. Soon after, my husband came home late at night. I asked him in a low voice, "Shall I ask you to explain everything that happened today?" Then Henry began to talk in a low voice as if he had given up on the idea. About 4 years ago, he lied about being single on a dating app and met Kayla, with whom he was having an affair. After a while, Kayla got pregnant and wanted to have the baby. Kayla took advantage of the fact that she had cut ties from her parents, lied to Henry that she had no relatives and that she couldn't get married because she had debts, and started living a double life. When I found out everything, I was so shocked that I couldn't speak for a while. How could you betray us? How will you pay for this? When I glared at him, Henry got down on his knees and trembled.
That woman is nothing to me. I only love you and Nina. I'm going to break up with her. Just give me another chance.
I looked at Henry for a while and muttered, "All right then."
You forgive me? Thank you, Meredith.
I smile at Henry's bright eyes. "Sure, why don't you go and take a shower?"
Okay, I will. Thank you so much.
With that, Henry headed for the bathroom. Once he left the room, I made a phone call. Eventually, my husband came out of the bath in a good mood and his face turned pale again. He was pale again because he saw me and Kayla, the woman he was having an affair with, standing side by side.
Kayla, what are you doing here? Meredith, what the hell is going on?
I replied with a smile. "Before you came back, I got a call from Kayla. She wanted the three of us to have a talk." Here's what she said. She was shocked not to know that Henry has a family. She didn't know how to apologize to me and felt that it was her fault. Henry says he wants to divorce me and be with Kayla, but she was planning to break up with him. She wants to make amends from now on. As Kayla tearfully pleaded with me, I thought to myself, she is also a victim of Henry's deception. So I came up with a plan to take Henry down a peg or two with her. "Henry, I just talked to your wife, and she told me that you were planning to break up with me. That's the opposite of what you told me," Kayla says. Henry looks down and mumbles. I sigh heavily. "You were just going to say whatever was convenient for you and keep the relationship going with the both of us, weren't you? Give it up. Why don't you say something?" I yelled at him, and he sounded like he was about to cry.
But I really do love you both. I don't want to let either of you go.
Huh? What are you saying? Then Henry shuddered.
Why don't we just stick with our current relationship? We can be friends with each other's families, and we can all live together. Then everyone would be happy.
I was too stunned to say anything, but Kayla started talking. "Henry, I asked your wife where you really work. S Systems. So you've been lying to me about your real employer."
That's...
Henry tries to make an excuse. Kayla stopped him. "You know N Corporation, don't you?"
That's one of our biggest clients. What does that have to do with this?
To Henry's puzzled look, Kayla continued indifferently. "I knew it. S Systems is the name of a company I heard my father mention before."
Your father? What?
"I told you that I've cut ties with my parents, but the truth is that I ran away from them because I was fed up with my overprotective parents who loved me too much. My father is the president of N Corporation."
President?
I just called him for the first time in years to tell him that I'd been tricked by a married man named Henry of S Systems and had a child with him. And he was furious. Henry became pale and panicky. Kayla, however, continued without hesitation. "My father told N Corporation about the situation, and they're going to stop doing business with S Systems. By the end of the week, your company will be in an uproar."
Hey, if that happens, my job will be on the line.
"I don't care about that. I'm leaving you, but you still owe me child support. Better be ready for that." Kayla yelled at Henry. Henry was shocked.
What? You're leaving me?
"Of course I am. I was your mistress. I'm not going to continue this relationship with you. Don't you dare make fun of me." Henry, who had been rebuffed by Kayla, now turned to me with a blue face.
Meredith, Kayla and I are over now. Now we can go back to our happy family. That's good, isn't it?
Henry was trying to get close to me. I shoved him as hard as I could. Don't be silly. I'd divorce a man like you too. I'll get custody of our daughter and I'm demanding alimony and child support, so make sure you pay up.
You're going to leave me too?
Henry's eyes widened, but I glared at him and yelled. You keep betraying me, Nina, and even used Kayla. I don't ever want to see your face again. Hurry up and get out of this house. Kayla and I looked down at Henry with our arms crossed. Then we kicked Henry out of the house. He started crying and saying he couldn't pay me alimony. But when I threatened to take him to court, he immediately transferred the money to me. He said he would pay child support monthly from now on. Kayla's father hired a lawyer, and it seems he had to pay Kayla alimony and child support for her and her child. Because of Kayla's father, Henry was fired from his job. He had to take out loans to pay me and Kayla. Henry now lives in a terrible apartment and works day and night. He has asked me and Kayla to reduce our child support payments, but neither I nor Kayla are willing to compromise on anything. He must live with his sins from now on. After that, I moved into a smaller apartment with Nina, and we are living a peaceful life. Nina seems to be fine with her father being gone and says she would rather be with just me. Kayla seems to have gone back to her parents' house to raise her child, and although we don't see each other, we email each other occasionally. I'm going to put my daughter's happiness first and try to live a brighter life from now on.